Hello, this is Amy from Amazing Materials for You. I'm excited to have you here today. Welcome. I am going to talk to you about morphology in upper elementary, and I'm going to start with my own background, then what morphology is, some methods, and materials. So, about me, I create teaching resources at Amazing Materials for You. In 1987, I began my teaching journey, if you can believe that, and I have taught every age from babies to fifth grade, as well as college and graduate school. I'm a mom of two adult daughters, a cute little Maltese dog, and two precious cats. When I'm not teaching, you can find me traveling, reading, hiking, or singing. All right, so I wanted to let you know before we begin that the session guide I provided includes everything in this presentation, but certainly feel free to stop and take notes as you view the presentation today, if that helps you, because I know that some people really like to take notes. All right, so my background, how it started and how it's going. Education. In the seventh and eighth grade, I took Latin, Greek, and etymology. I was in a private school. They offered a lot of electives. I loved learning about words and their origins. I continued to study Latin throughout high school. I also have a BA in English. My early teaching career. I taught preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. I was always passionate about reading and writing instruction and wanted to learn everything I could about teaching reading and writing. So think about when I started, which was 1987, big on Lucy Calkins, and we all know that people have had a lot of strong feelings about Lucy Calkins. So things have changed a lot since the 80s. Then in the 2000s, my principal in Denver invited an Orton-Gillingham trainer to lead a week-long workshop for all the language arts teachers in the school. At the time, I was teaching fifth grade, and I had two classes of language arts and social studies that I taught. Currently, I am in Fairfax County, Virginia. In 2018, I began teaching in a gifted program. In our program, we use Michael Clay Thompson's and William and Mary's materials for word study and vocabulary. My county adopted Benchmark Advanced this year, and so we use the word study materials from there as well. All right, so let's get right into it. So, morphology, what is it? Understanding morphology helps readers and writers recognize patterns in words, decode new vocabulary, and better comprehend the structure and meaning of language. Morphemes can be bound, which means they must be attached to words, or they can be free and stand alone as words. Inflectional and derivational morphemes are examples of bound morphemes. So I'm going to start with the definition and focus. Morphology is the branch of linguistics that studies the structure of words and how they are formed. It focuses on morphemes, which are the smallest units of meaning in a language. So when you think about prefixes, suffixes, and roots, those are the small units of meaning. Examples: a morpheme can be a whole word, which is a free morpheme like cat, or part of a word, which is a bound morpheme like s or s to make cats plural. Then we have inflectional morphemes. Inflectional morphemes focus on how word endings or inflections change a word's tense, number, case, or degree without changing its core meaning. So some examples of inflectional morphemes are ed. So you would have walk and add ed to make it past tense, walked. Cat, you add an s to make it plural, cats. Derivational morphemes. They involve the creation of new words by adding prefixes, suffixes, or other elements that often change the word's meaning or part of speech. So this is what I'm going to concentrate mostly on in this presentation. Then we have compounding. So think compound words, of course. So that combines two or more independent words to create a new word with a unique meaning. So some examples will be tooth plus brush equals toothbrush, or snow plus man equals snowman. And then Lexical. So a lexical morphology studies how complex words are formed and stored in our mental vocabulary. It focuses on rules for building words, especially in specialized or technical language. All right, so here we're going to talk about inflectional and derivational morphology in upper elementary. So in word study for elementary students, we emphasize inflectional or derivational morphology to help students read, spell, and understand academic vocabulary more effectively. So inflectional morphology in upper elementary, adding inflectional endings should be automatic, but there will be certainly there will be some students who need some support, especially your MLs or your multi-language learners that are in your class or classes. English can be complicated, so it's important for them to have lots of practice with that. Prefixes. A prefix is an affix added to the beginning of a base word to change its meaning. Learning prefixes helps students figure out the meaning of new words, build vocabulary, and become stronger readers and writers. Roots. A root is a basic part of a word that carries its core meaning. Many come from Latin or Greek. Knowing roots helps students discover the meaning of unfamiliar words across all subjects. And then finally, suffixes. A suffix is an affix added to the end of a base word to change its meaning or how it's used. Suffixes can also change a word's part of speech. Learning suffixes helps students read, spell, and understand new words more easily. All right. So, morphology, why does it matter? Prefixes, suffixes, and word roots aren't just vocabulary boosters. They're tools for clarifying meaning, building comprehension, and developing confident, curious learners. Giving readers a chance to explore affixes and context rather than isolation helps students grasp not just the individual meanings, but how affixes function across different vocabulary. At the heart of morphology instruction is one goal: to make vocabulary instruction meaningful, consistent, and engaging. When students break down words, explore patterns, and interact with language in intentional ways, they don't just memorize, they internalize. They begin to see words as puzzles they can solve, patterns they can predict, and tools they can use. So this is something that really resonates with me because when I was in middle school and took etymology and Greek and Latin, this is where I really began to do this, where I really began to understand, oh, okay, this word is connected to this word, or this word came from Latin and it means this. And so these other words connect to it as well. And students will start to do that. Word study with upper elementary students builds confidence, promotes word consciousness, and helps students navigate more advanced text with ease. So that's really the goal. We want our students to be strong readers, and we want them to understand the vocabulary that they encounter when they're reading. So, how do you keep things interesting? I know that a lot of times there are, I feel like across a lot of programs, a lot of the activities that they recommend are very similar. And so my hope today is that I'm going to give you some different ideas that you can use right away, or you can make yourself. So I'm neither a linguist nor an orton-gillingham trainer, but I am a teacher with over 3 decades of experience who knows what students enjoy and how they learn. If you teach language arts at any level, you have some training in the science of reading, theory, the why, and the methodology. My goal today is to help you with strategies and activities, or the how. I have found that with word study, like everything else, variety boosts engagement. I mean, of course it does. You want variety in your own life. I would venture to say that when you go to work every day, you don't do the exact same thing with your students in the exact same order, or you would be bored out of your mind. So, therefore, I use choice boards, puzzles, matching activities, mini escape activities, and games to give my students different ways to practice and master morphology. So, I'm going to start with these two uh, word analysis activities. And I'm sure that you've seen Frayer models before. And I love them. I think they're fantastic because you here a child would choose what word they wanted to work on, and they write their word in the middle, then they write the definition, then they come up with an original sentence and use the word in context. They give an example or they can draw a picture, and then they give non-examples. So non-examples are always really important because they need to think about what is not represented. What is this word not? So that's always a challenge and always interesting for them. But this is another resource that we use in my county that is from, like I was mentioning before, the William and Mary website. They have a Center for Gifted Education, and these word webs are fantastic and they're free. You can go right to the William and Mary Gifted Education Center and find them. And I use these now with my students every time we read a new text. They choose words that they want to explore. I also have a digital version of this, but it's from my county, so it doesn't belong to me. But anyway, you can make it easily. This is what they do is they choose the words they want to work on. Right now, we're having our students choose 3 words from every text that they read, and they write the word in the middle. Then they write the sentence where the word was found. Then they look it up. They have to use the dictionary, look it up, write the definition, and then they find synonyms and antonyms. And then they give an example. And what we ask them to do is write a sentence using the word, an original sentence, just like you would with the Frayer model. Then they're going to analyze the word. They're going to look at the part of speech. They're going to look at different where the word belongs and what words are connected to it or word families. What is the origin? Is it Greek? Is it Latin? Is it Old English? Is it French? Where did it come from? And then look at the stems, which would also be the roots, prefixes, suffixes. So they would work on that. And it really helps to build their understanding so that they're not just skimming over words that they don't know. And a lot of times, because I have mentioned before, I teach in a gifted program, a lot of my students will say, well, I already know what all these words mean. And it always turns out that they don't. So there are always words that they don't know, and they think they might know from context, but this really helps. Then I have games and activities that will improve engagement during word study and learning morphology. So one simple game is a dice game where you can just get a die template, I should say, write prefixes on one, suffixes on one, and roots on one, and then have students roll the dice and create words. And there are all kinds of different games that you can play like that are very similar. I do know that Zippity Doodah Designs has a free die template in her store that you can just go and download, and you can use that. And that is absolutely fantastic. I use it all the time. So that's something that is quick and easy. You can put it in. You can save the template as a PNG and then put it in a PowerPoint or in Google Slides and then type if you want to type on there, or you can just handwrite and write the word parts, the morphemes on the different dice. Sorry, and you can come up with your own rules. But one rule that kind of comes immediately to mind for me is if they roll all 3 and they can't really make a word, then it's the next person's turn. And so the first person to make 5 words or however many you want to have is the winner. I don't know. You can do it any kind of way that you would like. All right. So Um, I have a sample of a lot of the games and activities that I use with my students for word study and learning morphology. So, one is, and these are all made from templates that I bought from somebody else. So you can certainly go that route if that's something you want to do. You can buy templates on Teachers Pay Teachers and make your own, or you can buy ready made activities that you can use in your classroom. And I have tons if you're interested in buying them from me. I would love that. All right, so these are puzzles and coloring. So here's an example of Latin stems where one part of the word prefixes are on these bright blue, they're turquoise puzzle pieces, and then the other parts of the words are on the light purple, the lilac color, and then they just cut and paste. This is also that has a digital option so they can drag and drop. That's another way to engage students is digitally. And the thing that I think is really cool about digital resources is that if your copier is broken or jammed, you can just upload these to Google Classroom or Schoology or whatever school platform you use, and your students can work on them there. This is a puzzle, and what you do with this is the students cut this page down the middle, excuse me, and then they have sentences on the left side, and then the words that would go in the sentences on the right side. And so they match the words to the sentences based on the meaning and where the puzzle pieces would go. And then they can also color their picture when they're finished. So this has a digital version as well. And so the digital version, they're already colorful. And so they would just drag and drop. Then I have mini escape rooms and games. So this is a game. It's called Beat the Sheets. And students, what they do is they read a sentence and then they have three options of the word that will go in the blank in the sentence. And they will pick the one that makes the most sense, that sounds right, and they will type it in the blank. And then if the answer is correct, it turns green. Now, there are a lot of ways they can be incorrect. They can spell it wrong, for one thing. They can put the wrong word. And, you can kind of, if they come to you, you can certainly say, well, how does that sound? Do you think that's the right choice? Let's get a dictionary and look this up and see if that's the right word that you need, and that kind of thing, so that they're not just guessing. Then this is a mini escape room. And the reason I call it mini is because usually when you think of an escape room, it has, 6 or 7 different activities, and kids go from one place to another, whether it's in person or whether it's on Google Slides or Google Sheets or something like that, or Google Forms. This is Google Sheets, and this just has different levels. And what students do is they answer 12 questions, but they answer them 3 at a time. So they start here, they answer 3 questions, and then the next level is revealed. And then after they answer those, the next level is revealed, and then they answer the next level. And then there is a scrambled word at the end that they have to unscramble. And so that's how it's mini. Then I have matching and decoding. So this is an example of a puzzle, I guess you would call it too, where students are choosing one of two choice. They're picking one of 2 options as the word that would fill in the blank in a sentence. So notice that everything here is highly contextualized with the exception of this matching. They have to use the word in context. So what they do is they read the sentence and then they choose the answer, whether it's A or B, and then they type their answer in the blank, and it starts to fill in this picture that eventually says super. So it just fills in a few squares at a time until the picture is fully revealed. And then here I have an example, and this comes in digital and print. These two are only digital. This comes digital and print. This also comes digital and print. So this is a matching activity that is printable. And so again, a sentence, and then the student matches the sentence with the word that would make the most sense in the sentence. And then this one, the digital version, they read the sentence and then they look at the vocabulary words on the right, and they type the sentence that matches. And if they are correct, then a line, a colorful line forms, and it goes from the sentence to the correct answer. So if they get it wrong, nothing happens. So they have to get the correct answers for all of these numbers on the side to turn green, and for the sentences to match the words. Then here is a choice board. So this choice board is here's a digital one, here's a print, and the students will choose 6 out of the 12 options to answer. And so that way, what's cool about choice boards is it gives students agency. They get to choose, and they love that. And then this is also the same thing, choice boards. All right. So when you have a range of options for completing tasks for teaching, you stay interested, right? Our students are the same way. They learn better through exploration and application. Sorry, I need to put that over here. There we go. All right, so choice boards can come in a variety of forms. With word study and spelling, a choice board might include a variety of activities to do with words, or a variety of sentences to complete with certain words. Then puzzles can take different forms too. Of course, cut and paste puzzles help with fine motor development and hand-eye coordination with younger students, but upper elementary students benefit from them too. Then we have matching tasks. So matching tasks might be in the form of puzzles or cut and paste activities, but they can also be simple worksheets where students draw a line from a word to a sentence where that would most likely include that word. Sorry. Okay. Mini escape rooms, I already talked about that, but digital mini escape rooms are great because they're no prep. They are not as involved as full-blown escape rooms, and you can assign them anytime for extra practice, review, or just for fun. Benefits include improved engagement and problem-solving skills. Games. The possibilities are virtually endless. There are all kinds of game options available. There are game show type games, partner games, and games students can play individually. Playing games can also improve social interactions. And we know from teaching these little COVID babies that they're still a little behind on their social skills, and they're still learning. Even my 4th graders are still working on that. Then secret message decoding. Who doesn't love a secret message? Decoding secret messages can keep students motivated and can improve problem-solving skills because they really want to know the secret word, message, or punchline they're trying to decipher. And then finally, color by code. Color by code exercises provide students with opportunities to practice skills in a fun way and can also help reduce anxiety while building confidence. They also help build patience and persistence. So in conclusion, you can go the DIY route or you can go the pre-made route. So what I do is I love to invest in templates. That's something that I think is great. So as you can see, morphology is incredibly important for reading, spelling, and vocabulary building. Morphology instruction doesn't have to be repetitive or monotonous. I suspect that most, if not all, districts across the United States and in many other countries have adopted a science of reading program for word study. But if you're stuck in a rut, there are ways to improve engagement and learning. Confession. I love pre-made templates and have found a treasure trove of options created by Jillian Fernandez, Hello Algebra, Flapjack Educational Resources, and Lindsay Bowden. I have used their templates to create my interactive resources. There are also many outstanding clip artists on TPT who create color by code templates. Whether you choose a DIY route or purchase a variety of pre-made, ready-to-use resources, I would love to hear an update from you at amazingmaterialsforyou@gmail.com. And that's it. I love that you joined me for this presentation, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Please feel free to follow me on any of these places, my blog, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Teachers Pay Teachers, TikTok, YouTube. I'd love to see you there. Thanks for coming. Have a wonderful day.